Hey, what's up everyone, CBK here, bringing you another Marvel Spider-Man 2 video. If you're new to the channel, I mostly cover Marvel Spider-Man 2 here. I do wishlist videos, theories, rumors, and much more for the game. I also cover other superhero related games, so if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. So today I wanted to discuss what I believe to be the biggest questions heading into Marvel Spider-Man 2. These are the top questions that I want to see answered in this game. So without wasting any more time, let's swing on into it. So the first question that I have is, what is the symbiote's origin in this story? There are one of two ways it could go. The symbiote could be a lab creation by Oscorp, or is this an alien parasite that has landed on Earth and Oscorp has decided to experiment with it? I'm personally leaning towards it being a lab creation. I feel like it will easily fit in with this narrative. So far, this universe has taken a more scientific route with a lot of their villains. I'm looking forward to having that question answered though. The next question that I need answered is, how do Harry and Peter reunite? What is that conversation like once they finally do see each other? Does Peter reveal to Harry that he knows he was sick, or does he play along with the lie about Harry being overseas? I'm really looking forward to seeing how their relationship and dynamic play out together overall. Next up, I have one of the biggest questions I want answered, and that is Venom a playable character in this game? I desperately want at least one mission in which Venom is playable, but I would welcome more. It's hard to see them making a Spider-Man game with Venom in it and not making Venom a playable character at some point in time in the story. This is without a doubt one of my biggest questions. Sticking along the topic of playable characters, the next question I need answered is, are Peter and Miles able to be played and switched whenever you want? I personally don't want you to be able to switch between what Spider-Man you want for each mission. I think that this is a Peter Parker focused story and the experience should be played through his perspective. I still do want a couple of missions dedicated to Miles, but I'm hoping that the game dictates which Spider-Man you play as and you don't get to choose freely. Next up, I want to know if there are any symbiote variants for each suit. Ever since this rumor came out, I have loved this idea. It just makes sense for there to be a symbiote version of every suit, in my opinion. Imagine once you get the symbiote in the story and you go to look at all of your suits, your whole suit collection is now just filled with black suits. That would be pretty sick in my opinion. Next up, I want to know how the symbiote affects Peter in this game. I especially want to know how it affects his relationships with his friends and his loved ones. And I really want to see how it affects a grieving Peter Parker, one who just lost his aunt. We really haven't gotten to see Peter grieve in this universe after the loss of his Aunt May. That is something I do want to see, and how the symbiote affects all of this for Peter. Next up, I really want to know what Kraven's role is heading into this game. What's it look like? Is he the big bad of this whole game? Or does that role belong to Venom? I personally do want to see that role belong to Venom. I want him to be the biggest and baddest villain of the entire game, but we do know that Kraven will have a pretty sizable role in this game. I'm curious to see how all that plays out and how it's balanced. Alright, so something I'm curious to find out about is how Insomniac is able to take advantage of the PS5. Like, what are some key features that Insomniac will be able to pull off on the PS5 that they weren't able to do with the PS4? I'd really like to see a major improvement in gameplay and scale of the game due to the power of the PS5. So I'm really curious to see what improvements Insomniac was able to make now that they have the PS5. Okay, so a major question that I will have going into Marvel Spider-Man 2 is, what other characters, heroes, and villains can we look forward to seeing in this story? I want to know what smaller scale Spider-Man villains we could potentially see. Obviously, I want some of them to be saved as a surprise, but maybe tease one or two going into this game. And are there any other Marvel characters that we could potentially see? I'm very curious about that. So once it's all said and done and we play Marvel Spider-Man 2, I want to know if there are any other symbiotes out there in this world. The whole point in this video is to try to get answers to questions I want to know about heading into the game. However, this is more of an end of game question. I really need to know if there are any other symbiotes out there in the world. Is there potential for a Venom solo game, or will this be the end of the symbiote story in this universe? I'm really curious to see if they set up any future symbiote storylines down the line. Perhaps, maybe even Carnage. So those are the biggest questions I have going into Marvel Spider-Man 2. You don't have to leave me 10, but I would like to see your list of questions you have in the comments section down below. As I close out this video, I'd love to see if we can get this one to 200 likes. That would be amazing. Thank you guys so much for the support and always watching. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.